Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Joshua with Dynamic Specialties Group, and we're back with our Salesforce Back to Basics series. And today we're going to talk about page layouts, and it's the last edition of our asset tracker. We've done this will be the fourth video now in building our asset tracker out of the Salesforce out of the box functionality, using some of the most basic tools in Salesforce to really build a powerful tool. And James has been with us for the last couple of weeks, walking us through, demonstrating these videos to us. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to him. Now he's got a couple extra additions for us today. Not only are we talking about page layouts, but he's got two additional surprises that came from a customer request when they saw the advertisement for this video. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let James take it away for us. James, it's all you, sir.
Hey, yeah, thank you. So yeah, like Josh said, I'm going to be showing you guys how to create page layouts. Last week we did record types. So to make our record types show up differently, we use page layouts. So we have our record types of external asset and internal asset, and we need to display different data based on which record type it is. So we can do that with page layouts. So before I start rambling too much, I'm going to show you guys how to get this done. So we'll navigate to page layouts by going to our setup icon, which is always in the top right. Click on setup. And since we'll be working on the asset object, we need to go to Object Manager, and we'll go down to the asset object. So here in the side panel, we have the Page Layouts tab. So we'll click Page Layouts, and it already has the asset layout. Most objects, actually every object has a standard layout that's created for it from Salesforce. So we have the asset layout, and we just want to use that layout for our external assets. So all we're going to do is we're going to go in here, click Edit, and that brings us to the Page Layout Editor. And you can see in here, we can move fields around. We're not going to do anything with this one because we want to leave it as is, the way Salesforce created it for us, because it's been working for us. So we'll just leave this as is, and I'll show you a little more about the editing in the next layout that I'm going to create. But what we're going to do in this one is we're going to rename it to External Asset Layout. That way we know to keep them separated. We'll click OK. You always want to click Save, because if we were to exit out of here, it wouldn't save this. So you either click Quick Save or Save. So now we're going to go ahead and create our new page layout for our internal assets. Click New, which is up in the right-hand corner, and we'll give our page layout a name. So we'll give it Internal Asset Page Layout. So you can essentially, this drop-down menu gives the option to clone an existing page layout. So since we have the external asset page layout here, we're going to clone this existing layout because it brings a lot of the fields we want. It does a lot of the work for us. It brings a lot of the fields down out of the palette for us. So we'll go ahead and clone the external asset layout and click Save. Now you don't always have to.
There's that save thing again, and that's important in Salesforce because it's a cloud-based system. It's not always saving your changes. So do remember as you're working through this to get in the habit of clicking save, and you'll be disappointed a lot less. Nothing worse than thinking you did something and then finding out you didn't.
Yeah, right. I actually just had that happen to me the other day. So it's always good to remember to click save. So as you can see, it cloned our layout for us. And like I said, you don't always have to use the clone page layout. If we were to have not selected the existing external page layout to clone, it would just come up here with nothing in these fields except the required field of asset name. Because required fields are required to be on a page layout. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to save a record. So you have to keep the required fields on the page layout. So we'll go ahead and clean up the items that we don't want. So we'll get rid of product code. We want serial number. Let's see here, which I have my list. I always have my list on my other screen of, what I need to do. So keep myself organized. So we're going to get rid of install date. We'll get rid of quantity, and we'll keep price. We're going to get rid of account because we can assume, because this is an internal asset, the account will be our own account. We'll get rid of competitor asset because it's not necessary. And we will keep purchase date and usage end date. So now to bring fields down into the page layout, we have what's called the palette up here. And we have fields, buttons, quick actions, lightning actions, lookup lists that we can add, or expanded lookups that we can add, related lists that we can add. You're going to add all of this to your page layout. But since this is a basics, I'm just going to keep us at fields because that's all we need to change for this asset tracker. So let's see here. We have the asset name. We want the manufacturer. So next in line is manufacturer. And again, you can always search things. So if we have loads of fields we got to go through, just type in the quick find and manufacturer right there. And we'll drag it down, drop it between asset name and serial number. So serial number is our next one down. And then after that, we have asset type. So we go type, we go device type after serial number. We want condition. Drag that down after device type. Status is already there and price is already there for us. We'll put description in here at the bottom, which is already in here. So, there we are. And we can leave that in a separate section if we like, but since it's just a simple object, we're just going to drag it up here so that it's all in one spot. We'll go ahead and clean. We're going to get rid of this so that it's not hanging out. We don't have any additional information that we need to track, so we'll get rid of that. And those are all sections that we can get rid of, and you can create sections and add different fields to different sections to organize your data. But again, this is a basic record, basic object. So contact is already there. Like I said, our account, we can assume since this is an internal object or an internal asset that the account will always be, in our case, Dynamic Specialties Group. We have purchase date, which is already there, and install date we need to go find. So install date over here. And our usage end date is right here. And you can kind of see I like to keep these things kind of grouped. And again, sections can be used for this. If we wanted to track dates, we could have a section for dates, but we'll just keep them all in one spot. And then our last one is decommission reason. So drag that down there. Alrighty, so that's looking pretty good here. So we can go ahead and click save. I always want to hit save. And now we have two page layouts. So, and if we just left it at this, it would default to the external asset layout because we haven't created our page layout assignments. So our page layout assignments assign a page layout to a record type. And it can get a bit confusing, but it'll make more sense as I show you how we do it. So once you've created the page layouts you want and you have the record types you want, we go in here to page layout assignment and we can assign certain layouts to record types. So we have the master record type, the external asset record type, and the internal asset record type. All we're concerned about is the external asset and the internal asset. And since external assets already assigned, we can just leave that as is. So we'll click Edit Assignment. And we want to use the page layout internal asset type. So we come over here to internal assets and you can kind of see how the intersection works here. So if we want everybody in our org to see the same layout, we'll highlight all of these rows, which we can hit Shift and click down. And now we'll click internal asset type and it changes that to internal asset type for every single profile. However, in the event that we wanted in a more complex object, if we wanted, say, a sales profile to see if they were looking at an internal asset and we wanted them to see the external asset layout, we can change it individually based on the profile. It's pretty customizable, so you can, depending on the record type and depending on the profile, they can see different page layouts for everything. It's really, really flexible. So, but we want everyone to see the internal asset page layout. So again, click Save. Takes a little time. We can click Cancel and see if it took. Okay, so it took. Sometimes Salesforce lags because, again, it's a cloud-based software, so the connection can sometimes create a little bit of a lag. Patience is a virtue that I don't possess sometimes. Okay, so now our page layouts are done. We can go ahead and go over and go to check our object real quick and see what it looks like. So go to assets. We'll click, we'll see if we have one created. We have nothing created, so we want to create a new internal asset. So we'll click internal asset as our record type. Let's do the asset name is Dell Monitor, because we don't have any real I don't have anything to punch in here off the top of my head. The serial number, device type, display, condition, new, status, it's purchased, and the price is $350. Purchase date was today, and we're going to assign that to me. All right, and since we haven't installed it yet, or we haven't decommissioned it yet, we don't need to fill these out. So we'll save that. Now you can see on the object how this looks, all the page layout field assignments that we did. It's organized in here. So the next thing that we're going to work on, and this is where we get into the special request, because normally this is just the basic page layout. But one of our customers and viewers actually requested that we have compact layouts and quick action layouts, which I can show you real quick. So the compact layout is going to affect this highlights bar up here. And it's also going to affect when you are searching something. If you were to just go over top of the link to the record, it would show you the details that you want in the compact layout. So let's go back over to the asset object, and I'll show you the compact layout. So compact layout work is pretty similar to page layout work, and you'll see here in a second. It's a few buttons down. We'll go to compact layouts on the asset object. And we'll click new for our compact layout. And we'll name this one external asset compact layout. It drags the name down there for us. And so the compact layout is meant for quick information, so that if someone doesn't want to click into the record, they can get just the pertinent information they need. Or if they do click into the record, it's right at the top of the screen. So all they have to do is just quickly look at that. It's all about efficiency. So we don't want to crowd it with all the fields. And really, in this case, for the important parts, we need the asset name. We need the asset owner. We need, let's see here, it'd be the contact, I think. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so it'd be the asset name, contact for the asset owner, the condition of the asset, the status of the asset, and that'll about do it, I think. So yeah, when someone looks at this, they'll just see right at the top this just these pertinent pieces of information. We'll click save. And now again, we have to assign this compact layout to certain record types. So we'll go compact layout assignment, and we'll edit our assignment. So we're looking for the internal asset. We'll highlight that, and we'll go external asset. Oh, I mislabeled it. It's internal asset compact layout. So cool. And that's that. Click save one more time. And we'll go ahead and refresh our page and see the change that happened. So yeah, here it has the asset name, Dell Monitor, the contact, which is me, the condition, which is new, the status, which is purchased. And finally, the absolute last thing is this was a pretty cool one, quick action layout which is separate of the page layouts and separate of the object, but it's pretty cool. And I'll show you guys how to get to it. So we're back in setup. We'll go over to the home tab at the top. And let me see if I can remember how to get there. Oh man, I'm having a brain fart here.
So sometimes when you're working with those page layouts, it takes a second for Salesforce to update the page layouts. So at the step where he refreshed the screen afterwards to see his changes implemented, you might find yourself slightly stalled as Salesforce takes a moment to re-up. If you find that they actually don't show, sometimes you need to clear your cache because your web browser will store your cached pages and not update the page layout. These are all things that you come to experience and realize over time. Sometimes it's just a few minutes of patience, and you'll see that change matriculate through. So don't get frustrated. Be patient.
Yeah. So sorry for the brain fart there. I'm back on track. So it's in the global actions menu, which at the top you type in action, come down to global action, and we'll click new action. And the instance that we'd want to create an internal asset global action is, say we've got an IT user and he is purchasing, he's purchasing monitors and purchasing computers left and right. We're bringing people on board all the time. We're updating all this equipment, you know. So he doesn't want to navigate to the internal asset object every time he needs to create an internal asset. And if he's just purchasing them, he doesn't have to fill everything out because he doesn't have all the information right off the top. So we'll create the new action. Let's create a record. And we'll want this to go to the target object is asset. And the target record type is internal asset. We'll leave this and create new record type. Create new internal asset is what this is going to look like on our global buttons. And new internal. And always give things a description. Ready? And we'll give the success message of yay. So click save, and that creates the action button for us. Now, this is where the layout comes in. And this looks very familiar to page layout. But what this is when our IT user clicks new asset or new internal asset button, it'll bring up a page where it just has the fields of the information that we want him to enter quickly. So again, like compact layouts, this is all about efficiency. So the goal is not to add every single field on the internal asset. It's to add the fields that are pertinent when he purchases the asset. So when he purchases the asset, he's going to have the asset name. He's probably not going to have the serial number. He'll have the purchase date. That would likely be today. He will have, let's see here. Won't have the asset owner because there's been no one that's been assigned to this asset yet. We'll have the status, which would be purchased, and the price. Let's make sure. Oh, we'll throw a description in there too, in case he has to give a bit of a description. So we got purchase date, status, price, and description. That'll give us just a quick. All he's got to do is enter these records in, and later, when the monitor or whatever device it is shows up, he can go ahead and enter serial numbers and whatnot into this record after the fact. So go ahead and click save. And supposing everything works well, we can go ahead and let me see. Sorry. Let's see. I don't believe it's going to. I think this is a case of we'll have to clear our cache and get it to update. So sorry, the demo went off the rails there.
That's okay. That's always a risk with these live demos. You can go the safe route, pre-record stuff, make it look really, really good. But this is real life. Sometimes it takes a moment for these changes to matriculate. We are using shared servers, and it is a cloud-based application. And so it can take a moment for everything to matriculate up through and need to clear the cache. However, we did show you how you go through and configure that. We also provided in the chat the trailhead if you wanted to go through and complete this all on your own and work it out so that you had the step-by-step using the Salesforce trailhead and the playgrounds that can really help you out. So, but thanks, James. I really appreciate you taking the time and jumping on that. I know that was a last-minute ad, and you went out and put that together for us. just
Yeah.
today. So I really appreciate that, man. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
no problem. Yeah, no problem.
So, well, all right, folks. That's all we have for today. That was the fourth edition in our asset tracker video series. And so we covered how to do page layouts today. We've also talked about record types, how to modify the standard out of the box objects, and use something that's built into Salesforce, configure it just a little bit, and make it really powerful for you. Now, we use the example of IT assets because, of course, we're an IT consulting firm. But it could be for you, it could be your offices. Maybe you rent bicycles out to people and you want to track who's got the bicycle for the week. Who knows? But whatever it is that you're trying to track, you can use your Salesforce or the asset tracker to achieve that immediately at a really low cost. And if you have internal assets who can work through Salesforce, maybe at no cost to you. So, however, if you need some help, we've got our $75 as needed admin service. There's no obligation. It's pay as you go, and it's really intended for us to help take some of this low hanging fruit off your shoulders with some of our junior assets, so that they can get in there and help make your life easier right now at a great value. And we can build trust and grow from there. So if you need some help, please do reach out to us. We'd love to jump in and see what we can't do to make your life just a little bit easier. All right. Well, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we really look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day. Be well.